Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel, Dataguy. I'm your host, the Dataguy. In today's tutorial, we are diving deep into one of Microsoft Excel's another powerful function, which is called XLOOKUP. If you have been playing in the field of data analysis, or if you have been, playing with Microsoft Excel, you are maybe familiar with the VLOOKUP or the HLOOKUP. VLOOKUP stands for the vertical lookup and HLOOKUP is horizontal lookup. So if you are still using VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, you are really missing out on a powerful upgrade. And today I'm going to show you how to use XLOOKUP. It is one of the newest, most advanced function that Microsoft Excel have introduced, and that literally replaces VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. And this will make your data retrieval faster, more efficient, and way less frustrating. So let's dive in. Well, where's my screen not moving? Let's see, try again. Okay, so before we jump into using XLOOKUP, how exactly you'll be using it, let's first of all really quickly try to understand what are the limitations between in VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, and why we think XLOOKUP is a superior choice. So some of the limitations I've highlighted here is in the VLOOKUP is it only searches from left to right. So if you have used VLOOKUP in the past, if you're familiar, you know that you have to look up the column is to the right of the return column. So it will not work because you have to be in the left side. So if you're doing the VLOOKUP, it also restricts to the first column of the table. So you always have to arrange your data in a specific way. It defaults to an approximate match, leading to incorrect results if you forget to set false. And for people who are maybe not familiar with the VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, I have done a video for the VLOOKUP, again trying to explain in a very simple, easy approach with a very small data set, just to make you understand what the formula works. If you are one of those people who have been watching my videos, you will hear me say again and again, the goal here is to make you understand, or anyone who's starting to use these formulas or learning these formulas, to understand the concept. Once you know, so I usually use very small data set just to make the point. So because sometimes when you have a large data set, it's so overwhelming and it may get actually confusing and you may miss the point. So I use very small data sets to make the point of how to use this formula, what exactly you're looking at it. So obviously you can expand it to a much larger data set. So coming back to the limitations. So slower with large data sets, you will notice that as well. I know it's frustrating when I have been using VLOOKUPs in the past, where I have a whole lot of big data set and it just goes like crazy because trying to do this VLOOKUP for one row by each row, and it just sometimes even crashes your Excel. Limitation of HLOOKUP, some of them only works horizontally. So like you notice by the name, VLOOKUP is for vertical, H is for horizontal. So unlike VLOOKUP, which works vertically, it works horizontally. Same left to right limitation, so you can't search right to left. Less flexible for real world data needs. And it's rarely useful compared to modern lookup functions. So obviously we check, and these may not be all of the limitations or shortcomings, maybe I just highlighted few of them. So now coming back to why XLOOKUP is a game changer. Because it searches in any direction, left to right, up or down, and you will see it in a minute when we actually go through some scenarios and examples. No more column index numbers, just select the return column, no counting required. So apologies if I keep referring back and forth, and if I keep saying, if you're familiar, if you have done VLOOKUP in the past, you know you have to count the column to see which column you're trying to match with. That's what it means here. that it's, you don't have to do that counting. Defaults to exact match. Unlike VLOOKUP, which often gives incorrect results if you forget to set false, so that's basically take care of that here as well. Handles missing value better. Anyone who have been using VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, you are familiar with this hash or pound n/a when there's no values found. And so you can actually take care of this much better here, and you'll see it again as I mentioned earlier. Once we go to the example, you will see it, and it's more efficient and faster. Handles large data sets much better. Let's see if my arrow key works this time to move to the next slide. All right, it's working fine for right now. So what is XLOOKUP? XLOOKUP is a modern replacement for VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. It allows you to search for a value in a range and return a corresponding value. More flexible and efficient than older lookup functions. All right. As always, whenever I'm going with a formula or function, I try to explain the syntax, because once you understand the syntax, then you know what to do and how to do it. And this time I'm switching a little bit. The way I have been doing in past is I go through the presentation and then switch to Microsoft Excel to actually do it. I'm going to try today to actually do back and forth. And if you guys like, please leave me in your comment which approach you like it better. That we go along between the PowerPoint, where I put the syntax and some of these text, and then switches to the Microsoft Excel at the end, or the approach I'm trying to try today switching between we take one example, we switch to Microsoft Excel, take a look at it, the function formula in action, and then come back to PowerPoint. So let's see. It's all like I've always said, there's always room for improvement, and we'll just have to go back which one everyone feels is much better and easier, and it helps you to absorb the whole thing. All right. So syntax for XLOOKUP is XLOOKUP. You type in always Microsoft Excel, anything a formula starts with an equal sign, then the lookup value, what you're looking for, the lookup array, so where's that value it sits, return array, what you're looking for, if not found, this is also again, if not, then what happened, and then match mode, search mode. It may sound very overwhelming, because obviously it's it's a long formula, but wait, once we go through it, you will know that it's much easier to understand, and this is why I wanted to highlight here. And these are certain conditions, you can say lookup value, again the value to search for. Once we look at the example, you will see what it means. The lookup array, the range to search within. Return array, the range containing the return value. So one, what you're looking for, so that's array or the range, and then based on that condition or criteria, what is it you would like it to be returning the value. So that's what this is. And if not found, remember how we said in the VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, it have those pound hash with NA. Here you can put actually a custom message. And the match mode defines match type. Is it exactly you're looking for, exact match, approximate match, or the wildcard? And we have some of those examples as well, so it will make more sense. And the search mode, search a direction, first to last, last to first, binary search, etc. So all right, let's go to next one. So here I put a screenshot here, but now this is where we'll switch it back and forth between the example and then looking at exactly on the Excel file where the formula is also there. So finding an employee's department data set. So what are we trying to find here is, in this particular example, if you see you have some of name of the employees and which department they works in. In this particular example, we'll be looking for Emily Davis. That's the employee name, and we're trying to find out which department Emily works for. So if you notice, looking at the syntax of the formula, it's XLOOKUP. What are we looking for? It's Emily Davis. So what is Emily Davis array is, and maybe this is where it will be easier if I switch to an Excel, because this cell numbers A2, A4 make more sense. So let me switch there. So here, the first simple lookup, that's the example we're looking at right now. If you look at it on Excel, if I hit my F2 key, if you're familiar with Microsoft Excel, if you hit F2, it highlights the formulas for you. So there you go. So what am I doing? I'm doing XLOOKUP. I'm looking for Emily Davis. So Emily Davis is in the range, or the array is cell A2 to A5, the employee name right here. You can see, so A2 to A5. This is the range I'm looking for who? Employee Emily Davis. Then B2 to B5, which is the department range. And whatever, so since I already plug in the formula, if I just hit the escape key, it will go away, and you can see the result is IT. So basically, Emily Davis works in IT department, and that's what we did by looking up. So you don't have to have this on another column when we do the VLOOKUP. It's very simple right here. We said we're looking for Emily Davis. This is the range of Emily Davis right here, or the the value we're looking for, the input value, and this is the output we're looking for, which is the IT department. All right, so switching back to the PowerPoint. Now if I go to next example here, handling missing values. We mentioned that if the VLOOKUP value is not found, then you can use the if not found argument in the XLOOKUP, the formula. So here, for the next example we're going to look at here is look for an employee called David Clark. Now why we did this? Because David Clark is not part of our data set. So once we do this, so the idea here is, you can see it says employee not found. This is a message we put in, so instead of that pound NA. So let's switch back to Excel. This is the one right here, missing value if not found. So here in the formula you can see Davis Clark. So if you notice in the same data set, if I do F2 again, in my employees I have John Doe, Jane Smith, Emily Davis, Michael Brown. There is no Davis Clark. Since we do not have David Clark, so what we did, we said if you don't find this thing, or could be any other name, if it's not part of the data set, so here the idea is really to look at this message right here, employee not found. Now this just simply is much easier. Instead of those pound or hash NA, okay, the employee is not found. It's not just in that data set that we have it. So I hope this makes sense, how clean, easy it is, quickly. It just tells you, instead of trying to figure out what this NA pound means, it just employee not found, so that's all right. Switching and moving along and switching to our next example of the scenario here is approximate match with XLOOKUP. So here, what we're trying to say is XLOOKUP can be used for approximate matching. In this particular example, we'll be using text brackets. So example, finding a tax rate for an income threshold. And the formula, let me switch here to the Excel again so we can walk through the scenario there. It's this one right here. This is particular one right here. So basically what we're saying is, if I click on the formula, we're saying is we want to know 120,000, right? That's the amount we put in. Tell me which tax bracket it falls in. So what it'll do is it will find the most or nearest one for which it fits in. So 120,000 is right now, if you look here, the result came up to be 25%. That is because you have right here, we put in 1. Now, this is also another powerful thing. This is the most approximate in the higher range, because if you notice, 120,000 is in between 100,000 and 150,000. So it's giving you, but what if you wanted to find the nearest, smallest range? All you have to do right here in the formula, make it, add a minus sign. Now if I do this, look what happened. It switched to 20%. So nearest to the lower range, basically. Closest to 100,000, that's why I put in 20% instead of 25%. Once again, if I remove this minus sign here, you can see switch back to, so closest to 150,000, you can say the approximate nearest upper range, 120,000 feet, so it's saying 25,000 compared to 100,000. I hope this makes sense, and you can see the power of it. Like you have the function flexibility, I guess the right word, that you can kind of customize your formula depending on what you're trying to see, what exactly your goal here is. So, but you can see how easy you can, do these things. All right, going back to switching again to our PowerPoint. And I would really love to hear from you guys. If you leave a comment, is this approach you're finding much more helpful? Switching back and forth between the PowerPoint where I have the text and then switching and looking at the exactly how the formula is in action. All right, so reverse search with XLOOKUP. What does that mean? By using the search mode, you can search for from last to first. So in this case, basically, we have this formula marketing. We're looking for marketing, and you can see it. And you see, notice that -1 part, but you have a 0 in there also. So find the last occurrence of marketing in the data set. Again, it will make more sense when we look here. So it's this one, the reverse lookup. I gave it a heading of reverse lookup. This is what the formula we're looking for. One more time, if I do the F2 on it. So basically what we're looking for is, in this case, Jane Smith is marketing. So looking from bottom up and looking for where Jane Smith and marketing found in. So you can see that's what, if I switch back to the PowerPoint here, so you're using the search mode from last to first. So it's going from bottom up to the up and looking for that particular right here example. So in this case, Jane Smith is in marketing. So that's what this particular scenario is. And moving on to the last one, two-way lookup with XLOOKUP. And I hope you are seeing the power of this one formula, how many different things you can do, and just by using the same formula. In this particular case, we're going to use the nested XLOOKUP and for two-way lookups. And what we'll be doing here, basically, we're looking for, in this particular example, product. We have different products. So product B, and we also be looking for the Q3 sales number. So that's what we'll be looking for. So let's switch back to the Excel file. So it's further down here, if you notice, right here. So we have 3 different products. We have 4 quarters data, excuse me. And then you have different sales amount, in this case, you can think of through. So what we're trying to find out here is, what is the sales of product B in Q3, which as you can see is 350. So how we did this is by using a nested formula. You can see we have applied XLOOKUP twice. So what we did in this case is we started with XLOOKUP, and again we say what are we looking for? Product B. For product B, our array is between 823 to 825. You can see that, right? So if I do F2, you can see 823 to 825. This is our product here. Then we applied the XLOOKUP again. And what are we looking for? Q3. So the Q3, if you notice, the cell range is between B2 to B22 to E22. So basically the headers. So this is where the quarters headers are. And we're looking for Q3. And then the data we're looking for B23 to E25. So you can see this is where all the numbers are. You can say these are the dollar amounts. And you can see that 350 is the answer because for product B in Q3 is 350. So really powerful function. I hope you are seeing that how easily, just by using one formula, how much different ways you can do it, and it's so fast, quick, and a lot of those limitations that you've been seeing in VLOOKUPs or HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP is not that, I believe, famous or popular compared to VLOOKUPs. I believe a lot of people use VLOOKUPs much more than the HLOOKUP, but still the functionality and limitations are pretty much the same. All right. So in a kind of conclusion here, and I would just say XLOOKUP is a powerful, flexible lookup function. It's easier to use and more efficient than VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, and I'm sure you will agree as well. And the only way to master these are you watch this video again and again, but apply it. Create your own data set or apply it if in your work or wherever you have the data, and I am sure you'll find it very helpful. I'm sure you will appreciate the this advanced XLOOKUP formula, and it just gives you one more tool in your toolbox, as I've used this analogy in my previous videos, that you know when to use. So as long as you know there's a VLOOKUP, but you don't have to always do a VLOOKUP. Now you know you have XLOOKUP. So again, as my always request, if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. It just simply, nothing else gonna help me but to grow my channel. And drop your questions in the comments. I would really appreciate your comments because it will help me understand these functions, the formulas, what I'm bringing it up to bring it to your attention is actually you finding them helpful. And please subscribe, share this channel with your friends, co-workers, relatives, anyone who you think may be beneficial for them to learn these Excel functions. Approach I'm taking is very simple, beginners in mind approach, very small data set, because if you can understand the formula, you can apply it to 100,000 rows also, same thing that you have in the 3 rows of data set. So thank you once again for watching my video. Hopefully it adds another something to your knowledge, and please give me your feedback. Till next time, I'll talk to you guys. Bye.